So I've already got 20 or more books on my bookshelf in Shelfari. Now I'm ready to start my Goodreads. So I'm going to go to a new tab, type in Goodreads, and we're going to create an account. And what I want to do is you can just go ahead and create an account by typing in your name, typing in your school email address. I'm going to use a fictitious one so that you see what it looks like when you're starting in. And type a password you want to use. And click sign up. And then we're going to skip that step. And what's cool is it'll ask you about what are the genres that you like. So look through, see what looks interesting to you. I like fantasy, I like young adult, I like suspense. So once you get through there, go in and click continue. It will start to ask you about things that maybe you might be interested. That's really interesting because I actually read that book. I really liked it. And I've read that book and I really like that. And so when you go through, read that book, it'll give you those things and you can even say, that looks interesting. Maybe I want to read it. Right now I've rated 3 books. I need to rate 20 books. I can do things like split my screen and be able to look at my Shelfari and type in those books to look at. But it'll also go through these genres so that it can say, hey, have you ever thought about these books? And then you can look and see if that's what you want to do. So I can say more in art, or I can move on to another genre so right now all it's doing is saying, hey, this is that genre that you said you like. Do you want to look at that? Have you read those books? And then you could also just type in books that you know you've read. So for instance, I've read the Griffin and Sabine books. And I can rate those. And then go on and I can type in other books. So your deal is that you need to go through and rate 7 books, not 7, you need to rate 20 books so that it will give you some suggestions. I'm going to pause this, get that to that level, and then I'll show you what to do next. So I've gone through and done a bunch, and so right now it's saying we've got more recommendations. They've got recommendations for me in fantasy and young adult, and they said I could see my recommendations. So I must have 20 titles. So now these are the recommendations. It's saying, hey, you rated some stuff. Maybe you'd like these. Well, actually, I did read this book and I didn't like it very much. It's just as good to tell it which books you didn't like as it is to tell it which books you liked. So when you go through there, hopefully by giving it some things, it says, so based on your interest in this genre, maybe you'd like these. And then we can go back and say, well, maybe I'm not into fantasy right now. Maybe I want to, my interest in art, maybe it's going to give me some ideas there. And it gives me some ideas of things that I could be reading in there. So what I want you to do is get at least 10 books on your shelf that are things that you want to read. I like going through the things that I've read. Based on what I've read, it's saying maybe I'd be interested in these. So maybe I'll go through here and say, boy, I read Wrinkle in Time, but I haven't read it for a while. I want to read that again. And go through and see if there's anything in there that looks interesting to you. And again, 10 titles is what you're looking for. Watch the next tutorial and you'll see what to do with all of this.